Hello, dear ones. Father Peter John, coming to you from All Saints Orthodox Church in Bloomington, Indiana. Christ is in our midst. Tonight I want to talk to you about Saint Alexis Toth. He is an Orthodox saint on American soil. I want to tell you a little bit about his life. He was born in 1853 in Slovakia. He grew up doing a good job in his studies, being devout in the church, and ultimately went on to receive a theological degree. He was very intelligent, spoke multiple languages. He married his sweetheart. They had a baby, but after a few short years of marriage, both his wife and son tragically died, leaving Father Alexis alone to his work with the church. Well, after a short time, Father Alexis received directive to go to America as a missionary priest. So he went in 1889 at the age of 36. He arrived at St. Mary's Uniate Church. This is where it gets interesting. In Minneapolis, Minnesota. Now, just a pause. Why did I say Uniate? Let me tell you what that is. In the 17th century, the Carpatho-Russian Christians, Orthodox Christians, were suffering quite a bit, both from hunger and from threat of imminent invasion. And so what happened with the various Uniate churches in history was, in a weakened state, the various Orthodox churches in a particular area, in this case the Carpatho-Russians, asked for assistance from Rome, from the Roman Catholic Church. And the response that they received was, if you will honor the Pope of Rome as the head of your church, then we will care for you. You can keep your Byzantine-style worship and tradition, but you'll honor the Pope as the head of your church. This is what happened with the Carpatho-Russian Church. So here we have then St. Alexis at St. Mary's, Uniate Greek Catholic Church in Minneapolis, Minnesota. He has over 300 parishioners there. He spends the first number of months trying to get the church in shape. There were no vestments, for example. There was no iconography. There was a building, but it was in need of a lot of work. And so that's what he did for a time. Then he reported to his bishop. His bishop was one who was a strong advocate for the Americanization of the Roman Catholic Church. So when he encountered Father Alexis Toth, he openly rejected him. He would not recognize his priesthood, and he refused to have any of his flock have any contact with Father Alexis, because he wanted Father Alexis to go back home to the old country so that the Roman Catholic Church in America could look very American and not Byzantine. Well, Father Alexis got together with the other Uniate priests, 8 of the 10 of them, and they talked about what they should do about this. Well, Father Alexis' parish in Minneapolis really wanted to seek reunification with the Orthodox Church of their past. And so they contacted the Russian Orthodox bishop who was in San Francisco. And after a hearing and after conversation and prayer, St. Alexis was received into the communion of the Russian Orthodox Church. And shortly thereafter, his parish of 300 plus were received into the communion of the Russian Orthodox Church. The other priests in America began to follow suit. Father Alexis went and preached in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, and that parish, St. Mary's, also came into the communion of the Orthodox Church. And throughout his tenure, 20 years on American soil, Father Alexis was instrumental in building multiple communities and in the reunification of 20,000 uniates back into the communion of the Orthodox Church. So St. Alexis shows us that in the face of adversity, right, losing his wife and his only child, coming to America, being rejected by his own bishop, which, the Roman Catholic Church had every right to say, no, we want the American Catholic Church to look different, and so we really don't want it to look Byzantine. That's what the bishop had the right to do that, absolutely. But St. Alexis, rather than tucking his tail between his legs and saying, well, I guess I give up, I guess I'll just go whatever, St. Alexis was very prayerful and determined with his flock in Minneapolis that the right thing to do was to return to the roots of their spiritual ancestry. So St. Alexis shows us not to give up when loved ones die, not to give up when we face rejection from those who are supposed to be overseeing us. And he suffered physically in his health. He suffered a lot of persecution, actually, not only from the Roman Catholics, but sometimes from the Orthodox themselves, who didn't understand who these people were. He also was broke. For quite a while, he didn't receive any stipend at all. He had to work at a bakery to pay his way and to help his community and to help other Orthodox communities as he was, working his way through while being a priest. So he worked very hard and finally fell asleep in the Lord in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, at the age of 57. Through the prayers of St. Alexis Toth, O Lord Jesus Christ, our God, have mercy upon us and save us. Christ is in our midst. He is and ever shall be.